what I am seeing a lot of, have been seeing a lot of for a long time. Closed practices, right? So you see a lot of, this is a closed practice, that is a closed practice. But let me just say this. Ain't nothing closed until the DNA is closed. Nothing is closed until the DNA is closed. DNA is a very sacred thing. Why do you think pacts have been made with blood? Regardless of whether both parties were conscious of it or not. Why do you think pacts have been made through marriage? DNA. That's DNA. Why do you think when people go to take over, they start to marry in with the people of the land that they want to take over? Some settler who made that comment about, God, I can't remember his name, but it was William something. He had said something about, well, if we would have just married in extensively with the Indians as opposed to resorting to violence, we could have shed a lot less blood and gotten what we wanted. He didn't say it in those exact words, but the shedding of the blood and the marrying in and all that, he said. I wish I could find that quote, and if I do find it, I'm going to put it in the description box. That is also how practices get placed outside of the culture and the people to whom the culture belongs. So let's say I have a child with somebody who is not of my culture, but I am the one that's active in teaching my child my culture. And then my child decides to have a child with somebody of their other parents' culture. But they still want to teach the culture that I taught them. But then my grandchild decides to have a child with somebody outside of their culture. But they still want to teach the culture that I taught to their parent. That's how practices get placed outside of the culture. It may feel good to be like, yeah, this is a closed practice, this is exclusive, this is this for egotistical purposes. But if your DNA ain't closed, the practice ain't closed. Because the people who descend from those who were part of the ethnic group to which the culture belonged, but may have continued to be with people outside of that culture, outside of that ethnic group, let's say they want to come back and they want to learn. But they don't look the same as the people who stay within the ethnic group to which that culture belonged. Well, now, there it is. They may have majority ancestry from somebody else, but they probably have ancestry from your culture too, the one that you're saying is closed. So that's how the practice gets outside of the culture. The practice is not closed until the DNA is closed. You're going to deny the practice to those who don't look like those that are part of the culture to which the practice belongs? You have to think about these things. People don't really think deeply about anything because in this dumbed down American society, people have not been taught the sacredness of much of anything, let alone their own DNA. People go around giving DNA out like it's going out of style. People have forgotten who they are. People have forgotten the sacredness of things. So ain't a practice closed if the DNA ain't closed. Hate to break it to you, but that's really what it is. Just like in Sinners, when she came to the club and the vampires came to the door. The vampires looked white, right? And they said, well, how did she get in? And then the black dude, he was like, oh, she's family. But what happened? She went out to those vampires thinking that she could get what she wanted from them because she looked like them. And they ended up getting her. Then she came back in and got the black folks that was in the club. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So, ain't a practice closed if the DNA ain't closed. Meditate on that. Bye.